Really? It just comes down to a countdown, and then we're live. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. I'm Marijuana Man. This is From Under the Influence. Welcome to the proceedings. I am continuing to be From Under the Influence, and it is the promise of this show, and it always has been. Luckily enough, from the far east, not the far east, but more like central eastern Canada is Mr. Cookie.
Howdy everyone, we're over here. It's a hot and sunny day, sweltering today at 30 some degrees.
Really?
Humidity.
Plus humidity. Fucking humidity will get you every time.
Well, it's like the other day they said, oh, it's like whatever, it was 24 out. Humididex, 36.
What? 8-degree difference? Holy cow.
Always ridiculous.
The humidex, to me, has always been an interesting feature. It, somehow, it's, 28, unless you go out. And it feels like 36. But in your house, it's neither of those things, really. It's very confusing as to what the temperature actually is.
Well, or where you're going. They say, oh, down by the beach, it's always cooler. Wow. Usually you want to go to the beach to cool down.
That's right. But if it feels like 36.
Yeah, I'll stay in my place. It feels like 28.
Well, what they have in fucking Baghdad last week, record temperature of 125 degrees Fahrenheit.
Ugh.
All through the Middle East, it just fucking was cranking. 100 degrees in Mazar-e Sharif at that time. The plants are just rocking in the heat.
Yeah, they probably love it, just getting pounded with sun.
They thrive for our purposes as a result.
Well, even here with the high humidity and the high heat, and not that much rain, you know what I mean? Everything's been doing pretty good. I was really surprised with that. Real good, actually.
Oh yeah. Depends on the time of year, I suppose, for high humidity problems to come into play. It's the cooler nights that get you. Not the heat, it's the stupidity. Mr. Cookie has a chipmunk.
Here he is, Mr. Chippy. Where is he there? Put you on the internet, bro.
A little movement down under there. You can see him a bit. Oh, there he is.
He'll only let you pet him if you give him one peanut. When he has the other one, he screws off every time.
Too many peanuts.
And if you give him no peanut, he
die.
off, but he'll let you like pet him because he thinks a peanut's coming.
Huh. Well, smart little chipmunk. Very resourceful of the wildlife there.
Yeah, he brought his girlfriend over now. Now they both come in. She's more shy than him.
Huh. No, that's pretty fun always to have little wildlife. I had a raccoon in my kitchen the other night. That was a little different, but he scurried off and I yelled at him pretty quick.
Well, this guy.
I won't tell the other story.
It's not rated for the show.
No, has nothing to do with cannabis.
Yeah, living in East Vancouver, I'm used to seeing big rats run across my feet and stuff. I'm just like sometimes chilling outside, maybe in a backyard or something, even in a garage. You never know, right? So the first time here, he ran across my feet, and I like jumped up so fast, was just like, "What the fuck was that?" And then he ran under like the table that's right here, and I was like, "There's no rats here. Like we might have a small mouse or something." You know what I mean? And then I'm like, he came out. I was like, "Oh, chipmunk." I'm like, come back here.
Yeah, that's fun. Well, when I lived downtown across the alley from the store, there was a lot of rats. And my place looked down over the alley for a time. And one evening, I heard a young lady exclaim in the alley, "Eek, I think I saw a rat." And later that evening, well, maybe like 3 o'clock in the morning, I happened to be up, looked out. I swear to God, I have never seen so many fucking rats in my life. No sound out there. They were all out. And they were fucking everywhere. So I took a big piece of cheese and threw it out in the alley. And they poured out of every crevice. It was unbelievable, the wave of fucking rats that came out there. And I thought of the young lady, thinking, I think I saw a rat. About 15,000 of them saw you. Evidently. It's not so bad down there now. But yeah, the wildlife of it all. So what? Still stuff continues to go on around cannabis. Couple of stories I ran across this week having to do. I'm so tired of health professionals having any fucking say in cannabis whatsoever. Like, shut up, is what I have to say to them. I'm tired of it. You know nothing about it, and but they're stakeholders now, right? They kind of hijacked the whole process along with the cops as far back as the task force here. Task force was laden with people from the health industry, and that was it. Health industry and cops. So they positioned themselves to continue to make cannabis a health concern. And they are hell-bent on advancing studies to find some association with harm in cannabis. And these two studies, well, this one coming out of fucking Ottawa is talking about, here, let me pull it up. Here's what they said. It depends on the news feed too, as what you're going to get for a title or a headline here. But a new study finds association between cannabis use during pregnancy and autism. So, the other ones said, that there's a higher rate of autism if you smoke cannabis, kind of thing. Now, this is financed by you, the taxpayer. Health Canada, straight up paid for the study. But anyway, they looked at records from 500,000 births in Ontario between 2007 and 2012. Now, 0.6% of the mothers reported using cannabis during pregnancy. 6%. 0.6%. 0.6%. Now, I don't know what the math is on that. That's not many. Now, the researchers found that while 1.4% of the children whose records they examined were diagnosed with autism, that is 7,000 children out of 500,000 were diagnosed with autism. They claim that that number rose, the percent number rose to 2.2% if the mother had used cannabis during pregnancy. That increased risk was present even if cannabis was the only then illicit substance the mother reported using. Illicit substance, they tell you. Now, here's the next paragraph that is what the headline should have been. The research does not prove that cannabis use during pregnancy causes autism, only that there is an association between the two factors. Well, it doesn't really prove there's an association, it just proves the existence of the two factors. It also does not delve into how much cannabis is consumed, how often, or at what stage of pregnancy. Right? But they go on to say, still, the finding is the latest evidence warning of complications that can emerge from pregnant women using cannabis. Now, like, really? Again, they always admit in these articles that there is no real proof that cannabis is dangerous. It's just an association, and they run with that, right? And that's what the government uses to cry out that it's public health risk, is the association with the danger. Nowhere in the article did it say that the other women consumed anything. Like, what did they consume during their pregnancy to cause 7,000 children to be autistic? So there was no results of any other concern other than cannabis in the mix. Right? It's so fucked up. Yeah, and it's been going on our entire lives here. People just fucking looking for some potential association with danger in cannabis. Or were they like, really? Come on. Biggest study ever done, they said. Paid for by fucking Health Canada. Like, really? Like, why? Why are you? The conclusion was that, yeah, don't know.
Not enough research or something.
What percentage of people smoke cannabis? Maybe it's the same percentage as what comes up in the study, but no, it's not like that. They're looking for the association. Somehow, how can you fucking skew this information to show an association with danger? Another study I read about, this is a weird one actually. An assistant professor of pharmacy is going to conduct a study in Newfoundland and Labrador to determine the tastes of cannabis consumers. Even Mr. Cookie is speechless.
I'm like,
no shit. An assistant professor of pharmacy is being paid for, and it's from the same outfit that is coming from the government. She's going to do a study. Like, what the fuck? To find out what people like and want in their cannabis. From like, why do we need a fucking pharmacy professor to do this? Why would anyone want one?
Well, we already know they want a good product at a cheap price. Some people want like a higher quality product, the highest quality product that they could have. Same people who buy caviar and like a high end wine or champagne, you know, same along the lines of those guys. Then we'll have the budget guy who wants budget weed. You know, it doesn't matter really how it is, as long as he gets a lot for his money, he's happy. You know, it's like that's it. That's all. That's only like 3 customers there, and that's about it. And then, oh, at fourth, the newcomer. Oh, marijuana is legal. I would like to try.
Here,
I
try
don't care
this.
how much it is. Here's my monies.
Yeah. But how do you know that, Mr. Cookie?
Through market research, I guess. And years of market research and study. So I guess I'm almost a professional in the industry because I've been like understanding those numbers for more than 10 years, they say makes you a professional. So,
Well, and you absolutely are. But you go like, really? They now they're going to do a survey to find out what people want about cannabis? Like, really? They should have done that 2 years ago.
well, and even if it's legal now, they have a database at the stores they could look at and be like, oh, all this kind of weed sold. Huh. People must like that more than another one for one of these 4 or 5 reasons, I guess. Was it price? No, it seemed to be really expensive. Oh, was it really good? Maybe it was all right, you know? Something.
If they're going to use taxpayers' money to do this, why wouldn't you hire a professional marketing firm that fucking really knows how to do these things rather than somebody from the pharmacy industry, for fuck's sakes? Like, really? It's sad. I tire of hearing from them. If you want to go study cannabis, go right ahead. It's legal, go do whatever the fuck you want. But leave it alone for the rest of us. Quit coming up with your fake warnings that never come true, that aren't a real concern. Another study today about how dangerous cannabis is for your heart. Except there's no evidence that there is. No one seems to be getting hurt. Huh.
Yeah, it's true. Ain't nothing like that. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it does all these things that they say that it does, but they extrapolate what it does to make everyone think that it can hurt you. So, like, it's quite remarkable in my mind that if they claim on one hand that it helps you with all this stuff, and on the other hand, it hurts you, except the people who are consuming it because it helps them are not getting hurt.
Then it makes it better, yeah. But
You,
no harm from that.
you would think that people who are consuming cannabis for medicinal reasons, if you will, would show some sort of fucking negative side effect that is supposed to be fall me.
Yeah, you could tell, oh, they're like a smoker, you know, they have the weed cough or something. But no, it's not like that. It's different for every case to case. So it's kind of like, you
A good
know.
control group, you'd have to think. You could easily just look at the medicinal users to see what level of harm is being created for them and what they're reporting, which is nothing, I don't think. I haven't heard of any reports from medicinal users that cannabis is somehow hurting them at the same time.
No, it's true. And even the bad cannabis isn't harming people like they want it to or say it is, you know. It's just like, you know, always surprised me on these. Yeah, the medical people, the first people to prescribe medical cannabis were AIDS patients and cancer patients. So they both have like super weak immunity systems. And then they were just giving them like, you know, I'm sure some of the marijuana they got was, you know, very good and very clean, but I bet you some of the weed they got was very dirty and very like not clean, just because back in the day it was prohibitionally grown, you know what I mean? So it wasn't like they had a, even a medical source to go to until they started growing it for themselves. And I've seen, like, yeah, one of our friends, he was one of the first marijuana patients in Canada, and he's super sick, and he smokes like lots of shitty weed all the time, and I like, you know, powdery mildew, mold on it, who knows what else that we don't even see, that we just can't see with the visual eye, you know what I mean? I haven't had like his weed tested ever, but his idea is, you know, give me a lot of weed for a low price, and he's happy with that, and it still works for his ailments and everything else. So, you know, but
Yeah,
I'm just, Jesus, if someone would get sick from it, it'd be that guy, you know? He has a weak immune system already. Like,
you would think, right? But there doesn't seem to be much evidence to suggest that that's true at all. So now the health industry has figured out a way to. This is a lot of money they get for doing this kind of stuff, right? This is why a pharmacy professor is out there doing that kind of a study. Like, really, you could just watch Pod TV. We've been pretty loud and clear, the entire cannabis industry and community in Canada has been pretty loud about what we like about cannabis. Pretty evident. We've tried to show you everything.
yeah, pretty transparent and everything. Let them know that it was good, not bad. And
Well, we've shown quite openly what it's like to consume cannabis, what we like about it, the flavors, the aromas, the textures, the sharing, everything about it. We've shown that very clearly in right, and we are the very people that they're trying to come to their side, if you will. They're trying to lure us into their industry. So you'd think they'd want to look at what we like, which is readily available to them, for fuck's sakes. You can't ever find a cannabis cup out there in the world. You can't find anything on TV. You can't find anything about a cannabis consumer and the lifestyle and the likes, don't likes of cannabis. It's pretty fucking evident.
or like a contest or something, some sort of little contest.
Like hundreds of them, for fuck's sakes.
For a while, there was one every month or every weekend.
But we need to pay a pharmacy professor to go out there and find out what people like about cannabis. I guess more specifically what they like about anything that they've ever bought at the government stores. But
Well, see, that's still not enough research, you know. It's only a couple years of research, and then even that wasn't very good because they didn't actually start like 2 years ago. It was like only a year and a half. So, and then they only had certain products available, so it's even harder, you know. Like,
so every one of these health-related articles that I read, and virtually all of them do include these words: we need to do more research. This person who received money from the Canadian taxpayers to do a study concludes that we need to do more studies, right?
study.
So that's the game here, as it always has been throughout Prohibition and into today. They continue on with their, oh, the sky is falling. We found some danger. There was a study done in Jamaica some years ago, funded incidentally by the National Institute on Drug Abuse in the United States. The horrific fucking haters of cannabis. Anyway, they did this study where they actually followed children whose mothers used cannabis and gave them cannabis in their milk and growing up, and they followed these kids into I don't know, for some years. And compared to the kids who did not grow up that way, they were all doing better. Right? No, I don't know. Of course, this study was canceled instantly and thrown away by National Institute on Drug Abuse. But
Yeah, they don't like a good. They don't like a very positive outcome. They want to have a negative one. If it's negative, they'll advertise it. If not, they're like, "Oh, that didn't happen."
yeah. So they back up their little scenario here with their autism by, including that Health Canada warns that there is no safe amount of cannabis used during pregnancy, and says use may affect a child's brain development and mental health. Now, right? So the researchers reinforce what the people who gave them the money said, right, to validate their findings that there is no safe amount of cannabis. Well, that's a challengeable statement, to say there's no safe amount. That's a pretty finite fucking amount, isn't it?
Like an edible from the government. That's a pretty safe amount. You know what I mean? Don't be scared.
So it's this constant illusion that it's a health risk and needs to be contained and managed and weighed and dealt out sparingly to those of us who'd like to have. Now, this assistant professor of pharmacy doing her little study, she talked very plainly about how, finding out the desires of the cannabis consumer would help to alleviate the illicit market. Right? You go like, really? Assistant professor of pharmacy is fucking telling us this shit? Why? Oh my
They
God.
really curbed the illicit market on pharmaceutical drugs on the black market. So I guess she would know how that works then, once they only prescribe it from the doctor, it's not accessible.
But wow, it didn't seem like health research to me in any way, right? They'll just figure out they will no doubt focus on anybody's fears that they might be experiencing when they buy cannabis at the government store. Speaking of government stores, there is a little chipmunk. Make
Peanuts,
noise.
yeah. He just wets the peanut down and oh shit, he's gonna eat her down. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, he's hanging around.
He wants to be famous, eh? I told him we were doing an internet show. He was like, "Oh, I'm coming in. Make sure you got the peanuts."
Well, the only way it would get on the internet, well, it's on the internet now, I suppose, but it would only go viral if he jumped into your face right now.
He does jump up for the thing if I tease him enough, but he's eating, so I don't know. Maybe we won't do it on a full belly. He like jumps like 6 inches at least, if you hold it above.
Oh, yeah.
Or like try to grab it. I don't know, he's just sitting there eating. He don't care.
Welcome to the show, Chip Monk.
Yeah, we call him Mr. Peanut because he likes peanuts a lot, and I gave him pistachios once. He was pretty upset, but he still cracked them all open. So I wanted to see how he cracked them open, and maybe there's a trick to it that we don't know about.
Yeah, just gnaw the shit out of it till you get to the peanut.
Yeah, he actually like ripped it open with his little hands or something because it was like how 2 shells, you know what I mean? I was like, the peanuts he does rip apart like with his teeth, But the pistachio, it was like literally like ripped open, like the two halves were there, and then the nut was gone. I was like, that's hilarious. This is
That's
all.
Well, yes. So one of the retailers, the whole fucking thing, I don't know. It's all about everybody's trying to take over the entire market of retailing cannabis, right? There's big competition on out there of who can have the most stores under their banner, right? Which doesn't necessarily bode well for the consumer, giving one less choice in the matter. And but at any rate, one of them, Hobo dispensaries, Donnelly Group out of Vancouver here that run booze bars, booze lounges. They own Hobo. And I guess apparently there's been a lot of backlash about their name. Oddly enough, people are taking exception to the use of the word hobo. Making some association with homelessness. So they have very quickly, it would seem to me, I've not heard any backlash whatsoever, but out of the blue, there's backlash, and they're going to change their name. They changed it to, I don't know if this is even true. It just seems so weird. They changed their name to Dutch Love.
Dutch Love.
Yeah. They instantly expropriate the Dutch fucking people. And cannabis, I'm not too sure, is allowed to be associated with love in any way. Love is a
Feeling, maybe like a feeling.
yeah. Love Hurts. That was a popular song. So maybe that's what they're talking about. But so that's interesting. They bowed to that pressure. Now, I don't know. I'll have to see if their name that passes muster here. It doesn't seem to me that it would, given their way that they've stated that you're not allowed to associate with life or fun or anything good. So,
Yeah, it's a weird one.
well, what the fuck? I don't know. The world has become pretty politically correct in a lot of ways. I don't know. I don't know. I suppose if you certainly don't want, I can't imagine that the homeless have complained. Quite frankly,
Dutch will.
you think I've not referred to a person as a hobo in my whole fucking life. But
No?
I never understood their choice of using hobo in the first place. It just seems so stupid and uncannabis related. And for sure, Dutch Love was their second choice, and they just went with that today. Because I can't imagine they have many meetings about it. Because I'm not too sure how hobo got through the first set of meetings. Yeah, that's a good idea.
They're like, hobo. Yeah, is it an abbreviation? They're like, no. I
What
thought
the-
it was an abbreviation for, I don't know, herb or whatever, but no.
So if somebody brought that idea to you and said, "Hey, I think we should call it hobo," wouldn't you say, "Hey,
No.
what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?" Wouldn't you say that?
Yeah, where they're coming from. Maybe they have like it's like, oh, you found something to help us in every day, like the littlest hobo. But It's not.
No, it's not a Canadian after-school TV show.
With a
Well,
little
if they'd called it Little Hobo, they might have got away with it. But again, that appeals to children. If you're a child way back then.
like
No,
20.
that would appeal to children 30 years ago. The Littlest Hobo. We can't use that. You couldn't for that fucking reason. No, it's ludicrous, but now they're going to call themselves Dutch Love. So I don't know. I have to see how long it takes for the Dutch people to go, I don't think so.
Like they're not like, you know, everyone thinks, oh, the Dutch marijuana, but that's mostly stoner people think that. But like the rest of the world thinks like, oh, fucking diamonds and ships and, you know, sailors and this and that, where, you know, it's like very small part of everything, sort of like, you know, spice.
Oh, that's for sure.
They started the spice trade, for Christ's sakes. All trade.
Yeah. Oh, no. It windmills and wooden shoes.
Same material. They're building everything with it. They're smart, you know?
Well, they are a very resourceful and intelligent bunch. I've always given the Dutch credit for many things I've seen there that work so well and make so much sense that we, of course, don't even come close to it here. This is a testing ground for places like there, I think. You go, oh, okay, well, that doesn't work. But so I don't know, hobo. And in the article that I was reading about this name kerfuffle, they actually said, so, you know, it doesn't really matter much because they're all buying the weed from the same place. One store
Yeah, you
doesn't
just call it like the store because you can't call it the weed store, but you know what I mean? And that's fine. Like people are going to go there to buy weed because that's where they know to go. It's not like they're thinking, oh, I'm looking for a weed shop. Hobo?
hobo. One
Like
called a
Spirit
hobo.
Leaf or something?
No,
Spirit.
I'm not looking for a hobo. I'm looking for weed. Oh, you'll want to go to Dutch Love. No, not a prostitute.
I'm not looking for love. I'm looking
I
for.
don't want a prostitute in the window. Dutch Love.
Oh, man. That's funny.
So the jokes will write themselves, I suppose, over it, but no one gives a shit, really. They don't care, these people, what they name their pot stores. They just see gold at the end of the rainbow. Right? They're all convinced that this is going to fucking, I don't know what they're convinced of. They're going to cash in somehow.
Oh, the black market made, you know, millions and millions of dollars, but like that's over like, you know, hundreds of thousands of people. So it's not like they made millions of dollars. Everyone made a few $100.
Well, even what they calculate the black market, that still just represents the people who consume cannabis. It's not however much is available to them, it is from people who are just spending their money buying the weed in that way, right? They continually forget about that aspect of it. The consumer is what the black market is. So when they say that only 20%, they're only getting 20% of the black market consumers, that ain't many, right? Which professor's going to find out exactly all the things that you said, right?
Well, and then he's also going to find out that some of that 20% of customers that they're getting from the black market are shitty customers to have, because even the black market, they don't want most of them. So that's why they're out there not stuck with a couple of consistent people, you know?
Or they're new, right?
Or they're new.
The newbie to the marketplace is probably all they're getting now. People who actually like cannabis and know that it shouldn't be that expensive aren't going. right? So yeah, like it's just ludicrous how they are approaching this, but they're approaching it from the angle of sucking as much money out of the system as they can, right? Everybody, that's what they're up to when it comes to cannabis. Suck as much money out as you can.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't got like rap musicians to make a song about it and put it in like how they always like brag about spending lots of money on, you know, cars or watches or booze. Be like, just drop 500 at the legal shop. Got myself a 1/4 ounce of pot, you know, like 1,000 ounces.
Well, there was a story out there about Drake. I guess he was getting involved with Canopy growth to promote one thing or another. It was never clear to me what it actually was that he was planning on promoting. But what the fuck was the name of it? I can't remember now.
Make mistake. No.
Well, I don't know. It's named after one of his songs or something, but it's about make life or something was the gist of the name. Let me see if I can find it.
I do remember hearing about that. Yeah, I can't remember. It was some weird name like that. Like,
Well, again, it was a name that you go, well, how could it even pass the idea here that you can't associate cannabis with any of the fucking words that you're using here? Well, let me refine my search.
just right. What did Drake say?
Yeah, more life, it's called.
That seems like an extension of my life, or extra life, or living longer, healthier.
According to the CEO of Canopy Growth, and they say that is the successful Canadian weed company, right? You go, what? Didn't they just report like $1 billion in fucking losses or something every month?
Or the less amount of loss, maybe. Makes it
Anyway, they're saying, I don't know, they announced some time ago their partnership with Drake over something. And they said, well, you know, after all this time, not much has happened in that arena. So it might not happen. But you go, wow. Like, you don't even know what it is that they're trying to sell you. So I guess that's probably why it won't even happen. But they wanted to call it more life. You can't call anything to do with cannabis more life. There's no way. Life is one of the fucking words. Vitality. No way.
sounds like it's gonna make your life way better.
Yeah, more life. What? So I don't know. The celebrity aspect of all of this has fizzled away as well. Snoop and Martha and all the other Seth Rogen, and nothing's going on there because they can't use them. Not allowed to have those people actually promote your business. So all they got for their money or any association was the announcement that they were associated.
And their
Really?
name on the thing, if you like search in there, probably somewhere, you know. But other than that,
Not much in it for, I guess Canopy Growth is probably the middleman for Seth Rogen's weird. Is that who it is?
yeah, the closet cultivator, I forget what it's called there. Garbage or
Yeah.
Window.
I don't know. But it would be good for him because he'll probably sell more because of that announcement. And I suppose, but that's all they could get, really. It's not possible for him to come back and say, you know, you should be any news report that you could possibly muster about his fucking product. but which I don't see much of. So they can't. It seems so silly. Martha Stewart, nothing.
Yeah, I forgot she was involved. Even
She just came along with Snoop, right?
yeah, Snoop was like, I know where
Hey,
you
you should get in on some of this money, she said. Snoop said to her. And she went, wow, yeah, you're right. So she cut a check and that was it. And she go, really? That's all I gotta do?
I can get money from these guys.
So yeah, it's all about the money, right? Lots of money to throw around from the cannabis industry. So what? Somebody snapped up, when they continue to snap up the lottery winners in Ontario who won the lottery and got a marijuana license, retail license.
And it is a lottery.
Well, somebody. I can't remember now. Are you still around there, Anil? Who was that sold their dispensary? Who did they sell that to in Ontario? They sold it. They got fucking $4 million for their store.
2 million cash and 2 million in stocks and bonds or shares or whatever.
But $4 million they got.
That's good, no? That makes you like a 4 times millionaire.
Well, yeah, that's very good return on your potential investment.
Well, it would have cost her, I don't know what, $2,500 or no less than that even. I think it was only $100 or whatever.
Well, no, you'd have a whole store, whatever you spent on that design and setup. But you
Oh, yeah.
probably now you're going, geez, I wish I hadn't spent so much on decorating this place. Didn't really
I should have just went to the IKEA and bought a whole bunch of crap.
So I don't know. And every article that I read about it said, "Oh, this was very predictable." You go, "Wow, like what the fuck? Why is this shit going on? And why is this the kind of industry that you want to have go out there, right? Where
Well, and
instantly,
the lottery was set put up so that this sort of thing wouldn't happen. So I guess that
was it?
yeah, like they didn't want all these companies just buying up or like opening all these stores. So that's why they said, "Oh, we'll have a big lottery."
Well, then that's even more laughable, isn't it?
I know.
Like really, like that's ludicrous. Then that this would be the outcome. There was a moratorium placed on the lottery winners as to how long they had to wait. And so that time is up.
And yeah, like I guess that before they could have like a partner, sort of, but they could never give up
They
full
did.
control.
In that case, was that Hobo by any chance? That fucking, do you know it now? Hume was the one. That's who brought it. And they paid $4 million fucking dollars for a cannabis retail store that in no way it could show any fucking track record whatsoever. And as far as I know, you can't transfer the license.
Maybe now you can after so many years because it has been a couple of years. But I remember, yeah, that was a thing because that's why it was.
I can't imagine the license is transferable.
Well, no, that's why she still has the fucking 2 million in shares and stuff. So technically, she's still owner, operator, but probably doesn't do dick. Like she's just like on a piece of paper. Like they just do everything else.
Oh yeah, they just take over, probably. But
So we can goes check, please.
how easy would it be to have a chain of cannabis stores? Really, like it's not that fucking difficult the way that it's set up. You do one exactly the same as the other one, and you're kind of forced to, all right? All your bookkeeping and weighing and measuring and blah, blah, blah. All your orderings come from the exact same place. Your endeavor would always be to find the best weed that you can from that source.
And buy the shit out of it. That's it.
Right. But so, doesn't really matter much, does it?
Yeah, I haven't been into our local shop here since like it first opened like a long time ago there, just to check it out. And they're selling a lot of weed there, it seems. And that's like kind of all newer people or people that really didn't have like a weed dealer, which I don't understand. But and I have a friend that works there, and she like does ordering, and she was like, "Oh yeah, we just order all the weed, you know, it's all good, you know." And like she's not like a weed professional by anything, and you know, people just buy it up because you know, I guess whatever, you know, if you don't really know and you just go in, it's all different. Well, oh, that's different.
Yeah. Well, yeah, weed's very popular. People will buy it.
Exactly, or a name that they heard on the TV or news, or oh, that's weed that Seth Rogen has.
Well, it's all going to come down to what's available to you at that moment, right? And you go, well, that's all I got. And they go, okay, well, I'll take that then. We're fairly programmed in culture to be like that, right? So we're more active.
Rick would tell me, oh, well, this stuff's not the best, but we'll give you a little bit extra. These government stores
happen in one of these stores. I can't imagine there's even a way to give you extra or any desire to do so. It's all got a fucking barcode on it. I'm not too sure how they know. I've never been inside one of these places to even know what the experience is, whether or not they tell you anything about this weed or how they would even know. Are they opening this weed, buying it themselves and smoking it, and then telling me what they think? Is that going on here or not? Here you get to sniff in this little jar. That's it. That's all. Yeah, it says, yeah, it'll increase your appetite. Yes, it'll help you sleep. Next.
Let's say help you sleep. You can just, you know.
No, can't say that. I won't say that it helps you sleep.
Yeah, I forget. Yeah, I went in a couple stores and just let them like talk to me or whatever. And the girl that we've seen in Kelowna, she knew about terpenes and stuff, and I was like, whoa, like okay, but not really, you know, like you can tell it was more like
a word on the internet.
Well, or like a sales, you know, like here's what you say if someone says, oh, what's your favorite one? Well, I like the smell of this. The terpenes are very fragrant to me. They make me feel more. Well, I guess you can't make you feel anything. I like the smell of that one. The terpenes are very strong. You know, almost like a rebuttal for like a sales tactic. You know, like no, oh, have you tried the red terpene?
Huh. Well, I wonder how they know that. What did they smell?
Well, they had a little shitty sample jar that you can't really smell. It's like a bud that I don't know where it comes from or how it gets into that little jar. If it comes from like the factory in the little jar, if there's actually like a part of the store that they're putting that in there.
Is it related in any way to the marijuana that's inside the jar that I'm going to get?
Yeah, yes and no. I guess I've compared some of it, and yeah, it is like similar.
Does the retailer know? They don't know what's inside the jar I'm going to get.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know, because they must have to put it in there. So I hope maybe when they open like maybe they get a sample container, they have to buy one, or I don't know how it works some way. They don't get free weed for sure. But maybe they have all the staff around. They're like, okay, we're gonna open the White Widow. Fucking everyone have a sniff. Have a sniff. Oh, it's fresh. It's fresh. You know, maybe then they know or something, and then they put it in the jar. But I can't. It just seems like so crazy to think that's happening. But it's in a
Well,
little jar and it looks pretty sealed up too. Like I was like, how would I get into this jar if I wanted to get into it? And I was like, it seems like it's already in there. Like,
interesting. So yeah, I don't know. You can't say, hey, I think you should buy the More Life. Here at Dutch Love, we like more life. I don't think so.
yeah, Dutch Love. They're gonna have to change that too, I guess. Maybe that's the thing.
You would have to think.
Controversial names, so they get more advertisement from it.
Well,
Nothing's really bad's happening. Oh, they were called hobo, like call like boobs, our shop's called boobs, oh fuck, what? Oh, we gotta change it, like, oh, now we're changing it to, arse. It's now arse. Oh, you can't call it that. Oh, bull crap. Oh, bull crap. No. Hobo shop, formerly known as this, formerly known as that. Fucking.
yeah, you just stay open all the time selling weed.
Yeah, just, new sign. Just have, pretty soon you just have like the letter sign, like at the movie theater. You can write whatever you want.
So yeah, we'll have to see how this all plays out. What the CEO of Canopy Growth, when they announced the whopping amount of money that he's making? Tens of millions of fucking dollars or some fucking thing.
Well, he let all the staff go, so he's doing a lot of jobs now, I heard.
Yeah, stunning how these companies are reporting such losses, yet they've got so much. Right? They still got 400 million in cash. Oh, well, what? How the fuck are you reporting a loss? Oh, it's a different division. One that doesn't get any of that 400 million to survive or repay their investors. Weird. So, interesting thing this week, I was searching around on the internet about having stuff to do with UVB or UV light in general. And I ran across a thing that had me in it. One guy went into a fairly long blog about UV light and how it relates to cannabis. And in the midst of it, he said, "You've got to watch this." And it was a piece that I had done way back when, 2008 maybe. UVB and me, and he listed it, so you got to watch UVB and me out there on YouTube. It's the best explanation of this. And old school dude, they called me, but that's actually nowhere to be found now. Other than on this other page, I found that's using it to support their light sales. But that was kind of funny. You go, wait a second, that's fucking me. What? What the hell question is that? Well, I don't know what that would be, really. No one would know that. It would, they were crossing cannabis strains like fucking in the 60s, leading up to the first well-known hybrid became skunk number one. I would have to think. there was others around at the time that became famous as well, I suppose. Haze,
That California orange stuff.
California Orange, Early Girl, Early Pearl, maybe. Big Sir Holy Weed. People began working right away with cannabis because it grew, even though it was a sativa, maybe out of Colombia or Mexico or Thailand. It was going to grow like fucking crazy, and they did, but not quite often with a long enough season to get anything off of them. I don't know. It wasn't until, I'm not too sure if Neville was credited with being the very first guy to bring seeds out of Afghanistan. But when those did arrive, those changed outdoor growing for sure. They look more like cannabis. They develop buds, and whether or not they actually finished ever is to some debate, but it was way better than growing a Colombian in New York State or wherever you were.
It looked like bud on the plant, not just leaves, you know, like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. And the smells and aromas were spectacular and so foreign. It became known as super weed, really, like right away, because compared to the other, it was, because the other one offered you nothing. So, but of course, instantly people would reason that you could cross those two together and attempt to get the attributes of that sativa in the short maturation of the indica or the other one, whatever it was, right? That was the reasoning, and that was the first hybrid. Any other questions from the chat? Huh?
That's how you get it. That's how you get it done. Consistency.
Yeah. But skunk number one is the most used hybrid of all time in everything. And it's probably runs through every strain out there today.
Yeah, I refer to it as the building block of marijuana now.
Well, yeah, it certainly has been. It has a lot to offer. And in reality, it had to offer what cannabis had to offer, as opposed to skunk number one or what. But it narrows down to just a little bit of cannabis, you know, from whatever the genetics are that created that. They say of Mexican, a Colombian, and an Afghani. I don't know what combination thereof, or even if that's the credited recipe, but you know, that's what those three varieties had to offer here. There's lots, guess, right? The potential possibilities seem endless with skunk number one. The avenues that we've gone down with the flavors and aromas that have come from that are remarkable. But, you know, there wasn't a lot more to work with, really. Right? That was kind of the only cannabis there was. What? Not to say that there isn't nuances of all of those all over the world that did not come into play. No African strains, really. Durban gets into the mix a long time, right? But Neville's collection of stuff was from all over the world, really.
Where he went, he just collected them.
I don't know where they all came from, really, but he wasn't a widely traveled guy. He was kind of running from the police. I don't know about.
So traveling out of instinct, collecting,
But his earliest works were with Mexicans and Colombians and Ruderalis a lot, introduced right away, realizing that he could not grow those other sativas outdoor in Holland as they were in those days. So he started working right away with Ruderalis in the mix to make autoflowers. But abandoned that pretty quickly, I guess, when indoor prevalence came along and technology to do it. So that all changed, and the interjection of all of the hybrids from the States that came that way at that time changed it all for us cannabis consumers. It all started there. Nothing new has been introduced into the mix since then. Everything that is the newest thing on the block today is only there because of all the strains that it comes from before it. Right? And they only come from all the strains that came before them. There ain't no new cannabis here that we've invented along the way. It's just mixed and remixed and mixed and remixed.
And then mixed again.
Yeah. And logically, you take the what were the favorites last year and you cross those together and you come up with the favorites of this year. But whether or not it's improved each time is a matter of conjecture, I suppose. And whether or not it keeps and continues to be exciting, I don't know. But the nuances, we love it. But anyway, let's get the hell out of Dodge. Good to see you, Mr. Cookie. What?
I said, good to see you. I paused. I was coughing my head off, so I put the mute on.
Well, good to see you and your pal, Mr. Peanut. Mr. Cookie and Mr. Peanut together at last. I like
cookies. You make a Mr. Peanut cookie.
Yes, that's always a good idea. But yeah, good to see that you're keeping cool in the heat.
Yep, I'm gonna go down to the lake and do some magnet fishing and see what kind of valuables I can scoop up.
Yeah, I caught 14 magnets the last time I was out. Did pretty good. One of them was really big.
I got a couple that were electric, so they just kept jumping off.
One of the magnets I caught, I let it go. I put it back though. Leave it for somebody else.
Well, they'll get bigger.
Funny, hey, nobody's found. I never see them finding magnets. They're crazy shows, the shit people do. Right? But interesting, good luck. I watched a guy. We were down at Trout Lake Park, sitting there on the grass, and a guy comes along the path, not too far away, with a metal detector.
Ooh.
And beep, 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 beep. It was fucking making the most annoying sound. And, he's fucking bending over, digging shit up, and found like a pop can lid or something like that. And I kept it, still kept it though. And carried on, wide sweeping. And then moments after he walked by, a woman and a young girl came nearby and chose a place on the ground. The kid excitedly said, "Oh, mommy, look, there's a big pile of fucking change here." Oh, he was so close to, right?
He could have had it.
I went over and buried a dime in the path for his next visit. We would actually get something. Funny. Well, good luck with the magnet fishing.
Yeah, it's always a fun time.
Where are you going to do that?
Just off the bridge where everyone fishes and stuff, where they launch their boats, because then you can find like a tackle box and a whole, you know, whatever, I don't know, stuff.
You never know what you might find. Well, it'll be fun to hear what you do find.
I know, I'm curious, eh? Like what?
Right on. Well, thanks to Anil too for hooking this all up and zooming us out to the world. Thank you guys all for joining us for this time or any time that you got. Don't forget to tune into all the other shows here on Pot TV all day, every day. There's something to be seen and heard. So yeah, until next time, what happened? I'm Marijuana Man. Peace and pot.